Hi. So, I can't remember if I've ever said this online, but one of my favorite TV shows of all time is Hannibal. It's so disgusting, it's amazingly shot, it's gory, and the acting is brilliant, the music is divine. One of my favorite scenes of the TV show is this scene where Will and Hannibal have just killed a bunch of people and Hannibal has probably eaten them. And they're sitting in front of Botticelli's Primavera, and Hannibal's just sketching it, and Will walks in and they just kind of have a heart-to-heart. There's so much nuance, you know? There's this part where Will goes, you and I have begun to blur, and the background is out of focus. And oh, there's this other part where Hannibal's like sketching it, and you see that like on one of the faces, he's actually sketched Will's face on it. Words cannot describe how much I just adore this TV show. That was so disgusting. Now, let me make something very clear here. I will never paint Botticelli's Primavera, okay? It's just very complicated. It's beautiful, but it's way out of my league.
Wow.
Like, look at this, you know? Like, where do I even begin here? There's this kid that, like, appears to be dead and decomposing in a branch, and this woman's, like, pregnant with a bunch of flowers. I don't know what's going on with that kid. And these women are, like, having an orgy, and I'm not gonna draw that. I will not paint a butt crack, thank you very much. But anyways, long story short, I will never paint the Primavera. However, I will paint the birth of Venus. So it was the beginning of August when I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna paint the birth of Venus on my wall. So I cleared out my bedroom, you know, put everything out in the hallway. It was a mess. So I painted my whole wall white. And then we went shopping, you know, we got all our supplies. And then I started to paint this thing. I got as far as like painting the sky on my wall. And then I decided to just sketch out like the mountains in the background. And then I hit a brick wall. So the size of the original Birth of Venus is 1.72 meters by 2.78 meters. It's a mammoth-sized painting. It's huge. My wall is even bigger, which means I'm taking a big painting and I'm scaling it up to like an absolute unit of a painting. It's huge. So it was probably gonna take me like a year to finish this painting, you know, given how detailed it is. Like, there's so much going on. Like, the girl on the right, she's got like the stuff on the boobs, the necklace on the boobs, the sleeves, the ribbon on the sleeves, and then the hair with the braids and another braid. I'm gonna be here forever, and I'm gonna turn into a paintbrush, so, you know. So anyways, needless to say, I had a little bit of a mental breakdown, if you will, you know. It was getting pretty stressful, and I didn't film it because, you know, when you're having a kind of a traumatizing experience, the last thing you're gonna do is pick up your camera and say, I'm gonna film this. So allow me to provide you with a live demonstration. What about school? I'm gonna be here forever. Oh my God, what have I done? Yeah, it went something like that. So, take that how you will. So I spiraled out of control so much that at one point I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm done making YouTube videos. This isn't for me. The stress, it's not worth it, you know? Like, I have so many other things going on in my life. Do you hear that? It's my eczema screaming for help. So essentially what had kind of happened was at the age of 19, I had retired, you know, just throw me in a retirement home, buy me an Acorn stair lift, and we're good. We can even play bingo. So anyways, that went on for about a month, as aforementioned. And then the second wave hit. So the highly anticipated sequel to COVID-19, the movie, had just come out in theaters, and she was back and better than ever. Like, how does that even happen, though? After all of that social distancing, after all of the masks, after all of the toilet paper, it's worse? Like, are people just sneezing into each other's mouths and coughing into their nostrils or something? You know that doctor lady, like Dr. Teresa Tam or whatever? She shows up on TV like every day or something. She recommended that people have sexual intercourse with a mask on. Anyways, I was stuck at home, literally waiting for death. And then I saw a thing on the internet. Do you guys remember Coraline? We watched it one day in grade 2, and I literally didn't sleep in my bedroom for 6 months after that. It was so terrifying. But anyways, I'm 19, and I decided, you know what? I'm gonna watch it now and see if I'm still scared of it. So I bought it for like $1.50 off of YouTube, streaming, whatever, Netflix, it's something. And I watched it, you know, and it's going great. Beautiful cinematography, beautiful aesthetic. What is that? What is that thing? When I tell you that I scream, this is literally like a sign from the universe. When people tell me that God spoke to them in a dream, this is it. This is it. So obviously, you know, I woke up the next morning with a new energy for life, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. So step 1, we need a canvas. None of the regular canvases at like these stores sell anything even remotely close to it. The biggest canvas I could find was one that was around half the size, and it was still even too small. But anyways, I was gonna take 2 of those canvases, glue them together, recover it with canvas, and, you know, just go from there. Yeah, 2 things. That's not gonna work. 2, it's not gonna work. And 3, the price. So the only option for me at this point was to just build the whole thing, which we ended up doing. We went to Home Depot, you know, bought a bunch of wooden sticks, and then, sorry, my mom is cringing behind the camera. One kiss is all it takes. Falling in love with me. Possibilities. I look like all you need. So all in all, you know, we built the damn thing. It ended up running me just $60. So you know what, ladies and gentlemen? We got them. So the next thing I had to do was cover the whole thing with this substance called gesso. It's supposed to strengthen the fabric and make it more white. That sentence just called me racist. It was the 1st of October at this point, And the realization had just hit me that for literally a month, all I had done was watched Coraline and built a huge rectangle. So first I painted the sky with acrylics, but that ended up looking like crap because I hate acrylic paint. And then I was forced to go back in with oil paints. So next, water. Hopefully these people can swim since they're all just like around water all the time, you know? Like, I hope that Venus can swim. She is literally on a seashell in the water. Actually, if she was just born, she wouldn't know how to swim, right? So I guess, probably should throw on like a life jacket or something. You know, I like to think about this painting in the following manner. It's a little bit contrived, but it's kind of fun. So Venus one day, she's just surfing on a seashell, you know, but then she's like, I want to go faster. Those half pipes are not going to surf themselves. So she calls up her two buddies, and they're like, gotcha, bitch. So then they're like, I'm a huff and puff, and I'm a blow your surfboard around. And then they go, right? So anyways, she's going at like 100 kilometers an hour on the water. She's just zooming, dude. But there's this like lady on the shore, and she's, you know, sunbathing, fully clothed. And then she's all like, you know what? That's a naked lady in the water. There are kids here. Ma'am, no, okay, that is unacceptable. So she's like, cover your cooch. And she throws this red fabric on her. And yeah, that's the story of how the birth of Venus came to be. So at this point, I was about finished painting the two hooligans that are like flying on the left. Nothing really all that exciting happened here, except for one thing that I would like to take up with all of you. There are some things in this painting that are rather unsettling and confusing, and they make me wonder, what exactly was Botticelli thinking when he painted this thing? Okay, so right, we've got this here, right? Pay attention, kids, because I'm only gonna say this once, and it will be on the test. First of all, what is this skin color? How does this work? This man is red in the face, orange in the body, and white in the legs. Pardon? Second of all, can somebody describe this shape of knee? What specimen is that? What is the geometrical interpretation of this thing? Throw this on a graph and give me the vector equation, please. I get that this leg is this man's leg, but then this leg, it has to be hers. Whose leg is whose here? Because this one could be hers, but this one could also be hers. But none of these seem to be his. I've gone mad, okay? The other thing of kind of interest that happened, I got cocky and decided to paint her face without sketching it out first, and I ended up paying dearly for my sins. It ended up looking trashy and terrible and not at all like it should have, and then I just went, you know what? I'm done. I threw up my paintbrushes and I just moved on. They're just gonna be faceless. I didn't even paint his face because I was like, I don't want it to turn out like another botched Picasso painting. It's not gonna look right. So after my fit was over, I decided to paint the shell, which looks kind of difficult. It becomes pretty obvious that most of the dimension of it actually just comes from the fact that you're alternating dark and light colors. The whole painting itself is rather flat. There isn't a lot of depth, but that's just me and my very unprofessional, uneducated opinion. So take that with a grain of salt, please. Moving on. So I don't know what I did, but her legs ended up looking like extremely shiny. And I know that like part of the lore of the painting is that Venus had just been born or something, but I think that a more plausible explanation is just that she used Gillette Venus for women. She's got it. Oh, babe, she's... Okay, we need to talk seriously now. This is no jokes, kids. This is a serious matter. I've done something absolutely reprehensible, something irresponsible, something disgusting. I painted a nipple. I cannot believe in my 19 years of existence that I would ever say that sentence, but I just did. No, but seriously, it's there, you know, take it or leave it. What? But seriously, you know, it's there, take it or leave it. If you wish she had a bra on or something, don't worry, I totally agree with you. Just take it up with Mr. Botticelli, Mr. Celli, when you get to heaven. Other things that happened, I fixed their faces. No! 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 My sneeze went away! My stage just disappeared! Oh. Okay, they still look dead. So eventually I fixed their faces. I painted both of those two people on the left, plus Venus's face. I fixed her face. It was all actually looking pretty good. Venus's hair was also another huge surprise for me because I have a terrible track record when it comes to painting hair. So then for another week and a half, I think at this point, I don't even know, I've like lost track of time. I spent some time just working on details. You know, there were waves, and then there were like flowers, and then there was these like wheat things, plus the grass with the yellow line. Actually, about the leaves in the top right corner, I ended up kind of making them look a little bit like a Hawaiian t-shirt, so I'm sorry. It wasn't my intention. So eventually Halloween rolled around. I dressed up as nothing, and we played that game where you turn off all the lights, lock the front door, and be really quiet so that none of the trick-or-treaters bother you. And then a couple days later was the real event of the entire year, the American election. Now, let me make something very clear. Me as a Canadian, who's a Congress? What's a Senate? Okay, I know nothing about American politics. To me, this entire election has just been a battle between an old man and a deep-fried tangerine. And for that reason, I won't say much about it. However, I will say one thing. How the hell did you guys mess this up so bad? If the American election was an assignment for school, it would be so overdue at this point that I would be obligated to give you all Fs. You know, you've all failed my class. If you gave the American election as a project for a bunch of like 11th grade students and told them that it was worth 80% of their grade, I'm 90% sure that they would be able to just get the whole thing done one night, no issues, no complaining. You know, they'd have graphs, they'd have tallies. But anyways, now that I'm done offending pretty much the entire American population, let's get back to the painting. Now, I had been through a lot at this point, but the hardest challenge was still up ahead, which is the lady on the right. Okay, like I read this somewhere, I forgot who said it, but someone did, and the quote goes a little something like this. When you walk out the front door, take at least one thing off. Miss Ma'am on the right, needs to take off like 7 things, okay? Because like, it's a little bit of an eyesore. So anyways, I started by painting just the red fabric. That went pretty well. I usually like to paint fabric, so this wasn't too much of a big deal for me. And then I painted that white dress, and it was looking a little bit dumpy. It kind of looked like the white dress that Triss wore in Divergent when she was part of Abnegation or whatever it was called. So I waited a couple days for it to dry, and then I painted like a bunch of flowers. Finally, the sleeves, they look like ghosts, but I was able to do it, and they actually look kind of good, so I'm surprised about that. So all of these things were, you know, difficult in their own right because they just demand a lot of focus and a steady hand. But for some reason, the hardest thing by far was her face. So the first time I painted her face, the features were all in the wrong places and her skin was translucent. You know what? Okay, fine. We'll just like wait for it to dry and I'll paint over it. Not a big deal. The second day comes. I made her eye like too far down and her nose was huge and it came out to here. It was like Pinocchio looking ass, you know? Also, her skin went from translucent to patchy. So that was a thing. So then I waited another 3 days to finish her face. And finally, third time's a charm. If it wasn't the charm, I probably would have burned this thing because I was so over it at this point. But yeah, and then when the face was done, it was just her hair, which was just and the right sleeve, and then the bow on the sleeve, and then we were good. And I was done. I was done the whole thing. Just like that. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I am done. I'm done. I'm done. I am done. Would you believe it that I'm done? I'm actually done. Wow. I am done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I am done.
Come back here. Come back. It's cold.
Is this my painting? So these are my friends. This is Bill. This is Trisha. So yeah, it's done. It's here. She's here. She's not dry. I can't believe I've actually done this. Get up. We have some talking to do. As a family. Let's all listen up, kids. So I have a couple final remarks to give about this painting. So first of all, why are there so many feet? No, it's disgusting. If you are a human being that likes feet, I don't know what world of delusion you live in. Like, that is depravity on another level. So you cannot imagine my discomfort when I not only had to paint 1 foot, I had to paint 8. 8 different feet. That makes 40 different toes. When I said that painting a nipple was the worst thing I'd ever done, this is like a close second. Ew. And the reason why they look kind of flat and like unfinished is because I just couldn't take it anymore. Like, my hands were starting to smell like feet. My paintbrush was turning into a foot. It was just a big toe. So number 2, let's all give a quick shout out and prayer to my brushes. These men have been through so much and they're all dead. They are all destroyed. These brushes will never be the same. It's kind of what I get when I use like $4 craft brushes. I use not 1 palette, but 2. And I haven't cleaned them since I started this thing. So you can only imagine the layer of gunk that is on these bad boys. So at this point, you know, where do they belong? Whose forearm looks like this? And now, to be fair, it's not entirely my fault because in the original, her forearm is like really janky. I wish I didn't make the waves so white. After I painted them and noticed that it was just way too bright, I took a little tissue and like attacked it with the tissue to try to rub some of it off. And it kind of worked, but I wish they were a little bit like yellower or brownish and a little bit more natural looking. Other than that, you know, I think we're kind of good. Obviously her hair is a mess, but it's me, so like, what did you expect? This finger makes me a little bit uncomfortable. And yeah, that's it. That's the whole thing. This is what you've all waited 3 months for. I mean, it's just gonna sit here like forever now, because we literally can't take it anywhere. It's too big. It doesn't fit through the front door. It doesn't go up the stairs, so I can't even put it in my room. Literally, when we move from here, we're gonna have to like throw it out the window or something. But yeah, I just wanted to say, you know what? Thanks for sticking around if you're watching this. I had a lot of fun doing this. I might do it again. I know it's a little bit sad for some of you who like the weekly uploads, but I can't do it anymore. Like, it's just too much. But yeah, this was fun. Wasn't it fun, Mom?
Yes.
Yeah? Yeah. It was so fun, wasn't it? It was so fun. I'm gonna have to take this off now. Sorry, you were gonna say something?
I smell like a paint.
A paint? I smell like a paint. Moral of the story is, thank you so much for watching. It's been great catching up again. I love you so much. And I'll see you in the next one, whenever that may be. So yeah, toodaloo.